So looking at the Raptor Liner paint job, it's black on the bottom, and then this sort of gray, blue-green sort of combo for the rest of it. And what's nice about this is it looks good, but it's also incredibly abrasive resistant. You could brush up against, sticks, whatever, branches, all kinds of things, and you're gonna be fine. So that's something I really like about it. It also holds its appearance really well. So if it gets dirty, it doesn't look as dirty as it might actually be. And at nighttime, this is actually another really great part about it. Because it's a matte finish, it doesn't reflect. So you can actually park places and the van looks, like the color of night. It's great. And the rims are powder coated black, so these are also really nice as well. From the outside of the van going in, that's what we're looking at. And this is the pass-through door into the main quarters of the van. So you can see there's the headliner cabinet. It's a double door, which is awesome. You can pass through on both sides, and yeah. So for the wood, the walls were finished with cedar and then large redwood planks. So I wanted, really nice wood. I live in Santa Cruz and love the redwoods. So thought this would be a great thing. And it was finished with tung oil, so it's a natural finish. Maintains the beauty of the wood. It's not toxic. The door panels on these doors and the sliding doors are cherry. And then all the structural wood is either Baltic birch along with redwood 2x. So, incredibly strong, durable. Everything has, either slam latches or these little finger latches. So nautical inspired, kind of like a boat. Yeah. Opted for a fixed bed and fixed garage so I wouldn't have to, put the bed away every single day and put it back. And so that's why I did that. So there's not, because of that, you don't have the largest living room area as some other vans, but it's also a lot less of a hassle. For seating, there's still a number of sitting options. There's this folding chair, which stows away when it's not in use very easily. Just lift it up and put it away. If you're gonna sit on it a while, you can have a little cushion on it. I found that helped. There's that box right there, and there's this spot right here. Here's the table in standing desk mode. So yeah, it's like the perfect height for a standing desk. You can lower it if you're a little shorter, but I'm 6 feet and this is perfect for me at, kind of the top height of it. It could actually probably go up a little bit higher and be fine. But yeah, this can support a lot of weight. And then, in the evening time too, it's a really great spot for when you're on the bed and, either if you want to sit and do some work or if you want to, watch something. Yeah, it can hold your stuff. And so, yeah, the desk has, a couple positions. So in this bench over here, we have the fridge. It's a Dometic 95 quart CFX. So this model is a very large sized fridge and freezer, which is great for being able to have some variety while traveling. And I found it to be perfect for shopping weekly, which is great. You can change the temperature of both compartments right there. So it can be either, you know, 2 fridges, or you can bring down one or both and make it into a freezer. And because it's the CFX model, it takes very little battery power to run, which is awesome. I've never once found it to drain my battery down. Even right now in the sun, we're gaining 13 amps. So really efficient and really practical. The way the water system is set up is at the back of the van, we have the water fill up spot that runs into that Clearsource 3-stage RV water filter with the virus guard, and that then goes into the tank. And I set up that pre-tank water filter mainly to help keep the inside of the tank clean. If there's, you know, minimal bacteria, water in the tank, especially if we're sitting for a while, that helps reduce mold and other weird stuff that would grow. So clean water goes into the tank, and then from there, it's piped to 2 different areas, actually 3 different areas. We have one going to the hot water heater. Another is going to this undersink water filter. So it has another water filtration stage, and then that then runs up to the faucet. That gives you the full tank's worth of potential drinking water. And then I would also, for gray water, just use a 5-gallon bucket. And because of the way it's shaped in here, it fits that 5-gallon bucket perfectly, and it would never move around. I've never once had any issues with anything tipping over. And I found that to be the simplest way to house gray water. I didn't want to deal with long storage of gray water. I wanted to be able to get rid of gray water really easily and really fast. So that was why I went that route. This is the shower feature. Because it's a double door van, I wanted to set up a shower on one of the sides, and just like a gear rinse as well. So with that SureFlow, you have really good power. So all you need to do is turn this out, and then yeah, you can spray. It's connected to the hot water heater. You can do this as well, you know, and it leaves the van. Even the drinking water faucet, you can spray, and there's really good pressure, and it's variable pressure too, so you can control like how hard it is based off of this guy. So if you turn this down, it's just a trickle, and you can save a lot more water too. For cooking, I have an Induction cooktop set up. It is a very large battery bank. You know, it's nothing insane, but I found it to be more than enough. It's a 365 amp hour lithium battery bank. So this Induction cooktop was great. I found that I could make a couple meals a day, and the solar would charge things back up. And especially if I was on the road, I never had any issues with battery life. So great for, you know, using the cast iron and stainless steel cookware, stainless steel coffee pot, whatever you have. And then for prepping food, this fold-up table was awesome. Occasionally I would use the standing desk as well, just to give me more, you know, easy access surface to do stuff. But this is great. This thing was my best friend for just doing easy cooking. Stows away super fast and looks good. And the sink is a very large sink. I wanted a large sink for just usable surface. You know, you see a lot of vans, they have this tiny little dish, and it's like, what are you gonna put in there, you know? So with this, you can actually put your pans in, your pots, your whatever. You can even, you know, you can even rinse yourself off, give yourself a little quick shower if you needed to. So I found this to be a really great size. Storage, the van is well equipped with it. Let's start over here. We've got this overhead cabinet. It's actually a pass-through cabinet, and you can see that it uses slam latches, very easy. Actually passes into the headliner cab, so you can store long items if you needed to. Just clicks down. Here's the headliner cabinet, very large, has a nice protective lip of about, a couple inches. So I've never had any issues with stuff coming out. And same thing with this over sink kitchen zone. I called it the spice rack, but I'd keep cups and, mason jars. And then over here by the bed, you can see there's this whole cabinet zone by the bed. We have some bottom storage right here, like that. It's very easy. And then a couple easy reachable stuff. I just use some bungee cords to sort of act as a container for things. Up here, little finger toggles. I actually tied this so I could use it as a little, bed rest table kind of thing. Set drinks down or whatever. The rest don't have that. The rest just fold down. But you can see there's plenty of space in here. And what's cool is the way I designed it, these bottom plates for the cabinets can actually be removed and stowed away. And that then makes it so that this whole space is one large cabinet. So yeah, I found that to be really useful for weird items. It just gives you more storage options if you need it. In this middle compartment, it's not fixed. We have a modular movable nightstand is what I'd call it. And in here, it actually has another floor that can be removed. And this goes to another chamber. Let's see if I can get that a little bit brighter. A little hard to see, but yeah, that is a great zone for putting items you don't need to access all the time. Yeah, I would often keep random blankets in there or sleeping bags. You could put gear that, you don't need to access all the time, but, want to keep with you. So lots of storage options. The other side also has a similar toggle style, cabinet as well. So that's all the cabinetry for the van. So I thought this was a cool feature. It might not be practical for everyone, but I found it to be practical for myself. I always figured the van should be a tool, something that I can use for play, but also for work if I needed to. And so I put these tie downs down on the bed. And so, yeah, you can still use the cargo van, to move weird items, tables, chairs. If you do any kind of construction or any kind of work, you can tie stuff down on the bed. I also made it so there's a lot of pass-through storage as well. For me, I would use it for surfboards, but I also snowboard and would use it for snowboarding stuff. You could have, long items coming up on these rails or coming down across. These bars, both in the front and in the back, are removable. So they're very easy to take out. You just pop them up and, pull them out. And so there's a lot of modular space for storing things. It's also set up so that it's tucked away from the electric system, and the water system is pretty enclosed. So you don't really have to worry about anything disrupting stuff. Let's see. And I guess one more feature that I thought was pretty cool that's related is I left this back garage space open. I did that so that if it was nighttime or I wanted to access things from the garage without getting out of the van or opening the doors of the van, I could do that. And so, there's that step right there, and yeah, it's easy to hop off, and, you can access everything that you need to from back here. So overall, I found it to be a very versatile design and setup for, life's randomness. So this is just to show kind of the modular rail system that was designed depending on, you know, what you're trying to store, you can put more rails in over there. You know, that rail can come out. But yeah, what's cool is you can have all these things in here, in this case surfboards, because I like to surf, and you could still use the entire living quarters, you know, like you still have access to the toilet. I just pull that out, and it can go out quite a bit because I made the hose pretty far. And you can still access, you know, the fridge, like everything is still accessible. And there's also space in the back of the van for the rail, so you can push things back, you know, to make it so that you can fully lift things out of the way. So yeah, I wanted to make something where I could keep my equipment safe and travel and still be able to live in it and not feel like I was being hit by a bunch of boards. But it doesn't have to be surfboards, you know, it could be snowboards, or it could also be work equipment, you know. Like I said, I fit long 2x in here. I've done some solar work, and so I fit rails in here, and yeah, so that's that. I kept basic controls for things in this area of the van near the passenger entrance. So there's this outlet right here with USB ports as well. That's tied to the inverter. There's this dimmable lighting switch, so you know, there's that. This is the controller for the inverter. You turn it on and off. There's the battery monitor, and that's the charge controller monitor that tells you what's going on with your electric system. Over here we also have another 12-volt USB port, as well as a cigarette outlet. Let's see what else. I have another outlet set up right there, and that's plugged directly into the inverter. The water heater and the induction cooktop both connect to that. And then I have an outlet set up right there in case I'm doing any kind of, you know, power tool related work, or, you know, if you just want to have a radio or something or charge something outside. That's really nice. It's pretty low to the ground, so most power cords can connect to it. And I have another outlet on the other side of the van in the back in case you need to do any kind of plugging in from over here. So there's this outlet as well. We have some garage lights right here. Pretty bright. That's really great at nighttime. This is the short power plug. There's enough space to run it out the tail end, to run an extension cord out the tail end. So I found it was nice to keep it covert and low key. Let's see, all your electronic breakers are over here. So these are all the AC breakers for the main devices. You have the short power breaker. I wanted to set up everything so that if things needed to be repaired, or any maintenance ever done, it could be done easily. So everything is removable. You know, these boxes can be taken off to reveal the inverter on the inside, so you can access all of that. That's the DC to DC charger, and that's the charge controller. You know, in here you can see the battery master switch, as well as the 12-volt devices and their fuses. And then this stows away like that. And then in here, let's see, we'll just set that down for a second. You have the battery system. And so we have 3 valence batteries. I think they reach about 365 amp hours at this point. So it's a very good sized system, and you can see positives and negatives are separated. So yeah, it's great. It's really safe, and I've never had any issues. There's 0 propane with this setup, so it's all electric. And over here you can see a better view of the water filter system. So yep, For cooling, we have 2 remote control fans that let air in and out. So I chose the Fantastic fan for the front because it lets more natural light in, which I really liked. But yeah, easy to turn them both on and off, and they can pull air in or push air out. And then for heat, we have a 12-volt diesel heater right here that's tied into the vehicle's diesel tank through an auxiliary in. So yeah, both cooling and heating in the van. So in here we have the Nature's Head composting toilet. It's held in place with this bolt that goes into the floor. And you just grab this handle and then you can pull it out. And yeah, it's got a long hose, so it actually can go pretty far if you needed to. Yeah, I friggin' love this toilet. The cool thing about this is it doesn't smell. It's easy to dispose of. No black water. You know, everything is kept separate into the urine container over there, and it just works really well. And like I said, the biggest thing is it doesn't smell. It's really easy to use. So you just put a little bit of coconut coir in there and it works great. So here's a walkthrough of the van from the outside. Let's see. Let's see. So here's the inside of the engine bay. Idles nicely. So I've done a lot of modification to the vehicle over time to make it drive great. It has new transmission, it has new coolant hoses and engine hoses, which test great pressure. I also redid the AC system relatively recently, so it has a new compressor and new AC hoses, so it blows cold and is awesome. Let's see. I put in a auxiliary coolant pump, and that helps make the coolant run more efficiently, so the vehicle can drive on hot days without any problem. Speeds up to 80 and maintains speed with no issues. I also redid the whole suspension. So underneath we have sumo springs. We have some sumo springs in the front. Also put in Bilstein shocks and a super spring in the back, as well as an extra leaf spring to accommodate for all of the weight when the van is fully loaded. And it drives really smooth when it's fully loaded. It feels great. It corners really good. And I also have new rotors in, new brake rotors and new brakes, so it stops on a dime. And the transmission, that's the new transmission that was replaced really recently. So yeah, this thing drives amazing. It's like a new van. It's a new old van, or an old new van. Here's a different angle from the bottom. I'll get another view from the back. Here's another view of the back. See the super spring. the Bilstein shocks.